Hi, hello. This is Natalia speaking. Welcome to the next episode of my podcast. Today, I will discuss why Shakespeare was right. The pen is indeed mightier than the sword. This episode is dedicated to the topic of successful journaling and the way it can help you achieve your personal goals. I believe that diaries truly have a magical power of transforming thoughts into actions and then into very real, tangible results. This episode is, naturally, a continuation of my previous one in which I shared my way out of personal rock bottom. Where I come from, we have this bedtime story about a little girl who once found a set of magic crayons. Wherever she went and whenever she took out one of the crayons and drew something, her drawings came to life. This is how I look at journaling and keeping a diary. I have several of them for different purposes, one of which is very public. This is the very podcast you're listening to. This is my way to transcendency. But today, I'm going to share the story behind the yellow one. I hope that I will inspire you to start journaling once you hear my story and tips behind my own journaling and where it led me. You see, keeping a journal, a diary, whatever you call it, is like having your very best friend with you anytime you need it. I started journaling for real when I hit my rock bottom and was in a mess so heartbreaking, and I couldn't tell if I was still living or merely alive. Then, my journal was focused only on surviving, so I named it Survival, after the combination of words journal and surviving. I sucked at keeping a regular day-to-day diary. And what would I write down every day? Dear Diary, my son got me dirty with his yellow poo. Dear Diary, my abusive ex is getting away with how he wronged me and nobody believes me and I feel like my life has ended for me forever. This is not going to shift my mindset to a higher level. So what's the point? Further hopelessness? I don't feel ashamed to share the story of failures because this is exactly how we gain experience and this leads us to greater victory in our lives. Some may say that such dedicated analysis of failure is not motivating, but from my own experience, this is exactly what I lacked in motivational content out there. To understand, to discuss the details because the devil lies in the details. However, when deciding to change everything bad in your life, you just have to let it go at some point. Especially when journaling. Focusing too much on the negative then would do quite the opposite of what my goal was, which is constantly getting better, one day at a time. It also had a tremendous positive impact on my mental health and life balance because I had a space to pour down all of my dreams, goals, expectations, things that inspired me, psychological and sociological facts. My survival was inspired by the most heartwarming and motivating song ever. Listen to the gossip. One step closer, I'm feeling fine, getting better one day at a time. I'm moving forward, it's all in my mind. I'm heading talk with that new state to mine. So I will hold back tears, move into right direction, face my fears, move in the right direction. I'm doing fine, one step closer every day at a time. I won't lose my mind. Motivation, a powerful strength. Hesitation was my first instinct. I got the notion that weakness was total devotion. It's okay because I will hold back tears so I can move into right direction. I have faced my fears. Now I can move in the right direction. I'm doing fine. One step closer every day at a time. I won't lose my mind. Keeping my head up. Looking forward. Reminiscing will get you nowhere. Never say never. Starting over. It's not perfect, but it's getting closer. Hitting a rock bottom has obviously its downfalls, but it also has a good side. When you bounce back, you can start over in almost every aspect of your life. It requires inner strength though, and this is why we need journaling when facing turning points in life. When I started, I was already a dedicated bookworm and knew a thing or two on personal development and psychology. I had this during my studies after all. And knowing that people program their subconscious for the negative when ruminating about the negative, I stick to just one rule and one only. Never use anything negative. Never mention any frustration, unsolved problems, and so on. You see, there are things in life you really can't do nothing about. There are spheres in life that are not in your personal jurisdiction. And of course, you can fight it till some point, but you can let it be as well. Try to navigate over the issue. If you can't change something, change your attitude towards it. So, I started my survival with the definitions. Like I mentioned in the previous episode, being me wasn't serving me well. So I started to define who I want to be, which characteristics this new, improved, and resilient me would have. I wrote down the following: independent, strong, reliable, loving, organized, resourceful, inspiring, confident. I drew myself from head to toe. I identified who I am, what my style was, because the way you look like outside does tend to reflect your inside. I truly believe clothing is a non-verbal communication, and I will cover this in upcoming episodes. I identified my weaknesses. Well, being over-emotional, people-pleasing, unconfident, not precise, hesitant, and owed to change this. But I didn't forget about the good qualities that gave me the advantage. I started positive affirmations, writing what I like about myself, what others like about me, and why. I needed to do this exercise because my traumatic experience robbed me of my sense of self. I was questioning myself constantly and didn't know who I was. The person that I used to be before, or maybe the one that my abuser created out of me through the constant devaluation and conditioned helplessness. Through this experience, I learned I was none of this. I became something more, a fighter. A person who was capable of everything achievable for a human being. And because of that, I had to narrow down the things I wanted from life to specific goals and focus solely on them. The way to go with this is to trust in the process and prioritize the daily steps. But like every warrior, I needed training. I needed uniform, food, and pay so that I could focus on my battles. Because of this, the second step I took was drawing Maslow's pyramid. Sociology classes taught me about it. It is the human needs pyramid, in which I identified needs I don't meet. This helped me focus more on my well-being and improve my sense of self, and discover what I'm missing on my way to happiness. Any human cannot be happy until he or she meets all of the human needs mentioned by Maslow. There can't be progress when you are focused on the basics, and there is no transcendency and success when what occupies your mind are bills, food, and health. Resilience is necessary to succeed, and it is built through a healthy, well taken care of body. A small off topic here. This is the real reason why poor people stay being poor. They don't have the means to satisfy the basic needs and then focus on the higher needs, which would lead them to a better financial situation. Yes, this is a vicious circle for them, and the system we live in hugely contributes to this. I was stuck in that too, and I still remember borrowing money for groceries and being too stressed about the tomorrow to commit to my long-term development. But let's get back to Maslow. The pyramid consists of, from the very basic ones at the bottom, psychological needs like food, water, sleep, rest, and sex. Then satisfying needs and safety needs like home, shelter, being safe and not threatened by any harm. Through love needs like relationships, family and friends, a group of like-minded individuals. 2. Then esteem needs, prestige and feeling accomplished. And last but not least, self-actualization needs, such as achieving full potential and creative activities. Obviously, I was lacking in the upper areas. However, I decided to stick to my enthusiasm and then prepared a diagram of spheres in life and my satisfaction with them. This I cut out from my old bullet journal. Well, they are a complete waste of time in my humble opinion, but this one was good. It included health, family, finances, friendships, education, career. The task was about filling in the levels of content with these spheres. If you were fully satisfied and couldn't tell that there's nothing more to be achieved in a sphere, then you fill in the whole sphere with color. When doing this exercise back then, I remember starting with